Jean-François Gariépy is a man who talks funny on a podcast, but he was once a neuroscience researcher. His views on natural selection and race-based intelligence made him a pariah, but he tried to carve his own way through the internet nonetheless. Despite literally having wrote the book on intelligence, The Revolutionary Phenotype, his relationship history and breeding record is exclusively with the mentally handicapped. He knows better than anyone. An apple does not fall far from his tree, yet he seems to only pick the apples from the earth, pomme de terre, the potato. Many fear his last potato has been mashed, and now he finds himself under government watch, his podcast mired in controversy, and to add insult to injury, his former co-host, a clapping seal named Andy Worski, now eclipses him in success and relevance, despite being a self-declared genius. Perhaps Jean-François Gariépy should have skipped academia and learned from Forrest Gump. Stupid is as stupid does.
How do you say? MamaJF has left. JFG. She does not want to make the white potato baby for the Quebecois stud muffin, so to say, and she has dumped him for somebody. Well, I don't know. Somebody else is involved, but JF has put forward to his audience and said to the 2.5 women watching him that if they would like to fight for his undying love and to carry his white baby, they can do that.
Is a day where I'm single. Yes, it was not a clickbait. MamaJF has left, and so I started this new thing, a Wheel of Fortune type reality TV show, in order to select the next MamaJF. People were suggesting perhaps we should call her MamaJF 2.0. F for the person who used to be MamaJF. She has left me, so people are asking for all sorts of explanations. I will not provide explanations because there's really no interest for me to.
She's back.
Start saying it's her fault.
She's back already. Are you kidding me? Well, that takes the wind out of my sails. You know that. I mean, he basically just bitches that she didn't want to have kids, and then explains that he had like 2 other ex-wives that had children. So he's setting up franchises. He's going town to town opening a JFG's burger joint and squatting out a kid in every city in Canada. And it's the most bizarre thing. He should probably go for quality over quantity in this regard. But I mean, it's several, like, I don't know. I'll play a couple minutes of it, I guess. It's only a couple minutes.
This is that, and the thing is, she left in peace, and she left respectfully, and she left very differently than many of my exes, in that JF drunk. No, I'm not drunk at all. She left very differently from many of my exes in that she didn't try to destroy my life, and she left me with a precious package, a precious package that I will care for forever. And so I'm not in a mood to start a fight. Or
I'm going to skip past this. Just as what I said, that he broke up with her and then said that he was going to find a MamaJF too. By the way, that is an extremely unattractive thing to say to a woman ever. You do not ever want to propose to a woman by saying, oh, you can be my ex-girlfriend's name too. That is immediately like, I don't know, that doesn't work. But MamaJF did not know this, and apparently I'll listen to this. I've never listened to this before, so I'll react live.
Hello everyone, and welcome to JFG tonight. MamaJF has decided to come back. She's decided to use her 24 hours opportunity. She is coming back tonight. She should arrive a few hours after this show. And I'm gonna take a break tomorrow to to work with her, make some adjustments to her leash. Metaphorically, there's no actual leash. How are you guys doing on the regular chat? Now I find myself with all these women who have
Potato
been joining the
boomerang.
Wheel of Fortune contest, and I see energy, I see potential, and so I bring you Operation Save the Woman. What I'm thinking is, and it's already been happening actually, but there's lots of males in this chat who are looking for a woman. If a woman wanted to go out with me, she should want to go out with any of you because we're family here on the regular chat. And so I started pairing these women with some
Is his name, like, of his show Regular Chat? Is he talking about passing around his potato girlfriend with all of his viewers? What the fuck is he talking about?
The best fit members of the audience that I found. I knew already that there was a couple of you guys who had written to me, JF, I'm looking for a wife. And so knowing a little bit about you, I can find the perfect fit for you within this potential pool. And so many of you have already received, pairings. I'm going to start basically a dating service. The only thing you need to deal with is that if you go out with any of...
Can you imagine if I did that? If I did like a Kiwi Farms dating contest, that would be bad. that would be a total nightmare. The mere thought of it is like sending chills down my spine. That would be horrific. That would be a mistake. That would be a professional blunder in my career.
She wanted to go out with me first. She's picking you as the second choice. I mean, to a certain extent, I was looking at a lot of these offers, and I was like, this is really not a good fit for me. She's not gonna love me. But I was like, but there's this other guy in the community. She would love him. I'm JF the matchmaker. George says, where do I sign up? Just send me an email. Send me an email about your info, and don't be insulted if I send no one toward you. Because I'm just going to pair people who I feel are made for each other. And, I'm not going to take a...
Can you imagine? I would love to have a picture of everyone who applied to this on both sides. I would love to see all the women and all the men who have unironically put forward their names for this program. I bet you that is some funny shit.
I'm not gonna take a ugly woman from Canada and pair her with a fan of mine in South Korea.
Why is she ugly?
That just don't work.
Why did he stipulate that the woman is ugly and the guy only from South Korea? What is the implication there? Why not just say the distance is too far? What is he implying, that Korean people are ugly? It's not the distance, it's the fact, or are Korean people like so pretty that ugly Canadians don't touch them, or are like Koreans like below average but ugly is like too low for the average? What is he implying with that statement?
Okay. Matchmaking is a complex science.
JF looks like somebody from like a boy band in like the 90s. He kind of reminds me of the guy from Smash Mouth. I don't know how bad my memory is with that. Smash Mouth. Let's take a look here. Yeah, he does. He does. I'm not even wrong. Hold up, chat. That is pretty close. You just got to give him some Ray-Bans and he'll look just like him. You know what I mean? Especially with that weird chin strap thing going on there. That's ugly. That chin strap. He needs to get rid of that shit. But JF kind of looks like that.
Philip L says, hey JF, how is MamaJF coming back to your place? Aren't you really far from society? Is she going to drive that distance by herself? I will not reveal details of our private life, but she has been she has been on her way since yesterday. And so yesterday night when I gave my ultimatum, so she will arrive at some point.
How did he pronounce that?
In the night. Ultimatum.
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 Sounds Latin.
So she will arrive at some point in the night.
I mean, I know they pronounce their "oo" like a Russian "u," like a "yuk." Ultimatum. That's weird. I have to add that to my JFG impression dictionary. the weird "yeah." Whatever. So he said to MamaJF, "Look, you'll come back today, or I will start everybody I can." And she was like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll come back today." He has like all the cards. JFG comes across as someone who's like a genuine psychopath because he purposefully seeks out mentally handicapped women that he can control completely with very simple manipulation tactics, and it works. And it's just like, yeah, this guy kind of freaks me out. I don't know what his fan. That's my thing is whenever I see someone like JFG or Ralph, and I'm thinking like, okay, you know, I just like them for various reasons, right? And that's fine. I don't have to get along with everyone, but with JFG and Ralph, like, what the fuck is the audience getting out of this? What does the audience enjoy about watching this shit? The talk, the public talk, whatever the fuck his project is called, the public space. Like, what do they get out of it? Science shit. Apparently, he is educated about like biology and shit, but. I mean, watching this and submitting their name for like some kind of dating pool, like what the fuck is that? I think it's a bastard thing. You know what I mean? It's that Fight Club thing. We're a generation of men raised by women, so you have all these weirdos who need like a surrogate daddy, and most people will pick out like Jim or something. The people who are like this, I need like this surrogate daddy. They'll pick out like Jim, but then you'll get ones who are like, they had like abusive mothers, so they'll pick out like a Ralph or like a JFG instead of someone like more interesting, or they'll pick up like Dick. I guess it depends on what kind of person they want to be, right? If you're like a bastard and you want like a surrogate daddy and you want to be like a LA-based comedian, you'll look up to Dick. Or if you want to be like a scientist man, you'll look up to like JFG. So you have all these people who present themselves one way, which is probably not an accurate reflection of how they actually are. And then they get all these bastards, these fatherless bastards who need a paternal influence in their 30s, who look up to them and give them money. And that's like the entire East Celeb arena, I think. You don't ever want to be like me. If any of you are out there like, oh, I want to be like Josh, no, you don't. I'm telling you right now. I mean, you're like, you just don't. Like, find someone else to look up to. I'm not an idealist of anything. Okay, I like to remind people every so often that I like the fact that I have fans. It's fun to do the show, but I'm not your friend. I'm not your daddy. I hope that you are entertained by my weekly podcast, but the truth is, I will never replace what your mother denied to you by hooking up with a loser. And I can't be friends with all of you, and you probably wouldn't like me. I'm very different in person, okay, to how I am on the internet. I'm very quiet, and I like to listen more than I talk. So if you think I'm like a laugh-a-minute riot or whatever in person, you're gravely mistaken. I'm just saying, go join a club. Go join the Boy Scouts or something. Join a rifling club. Join a church. Don't make your internet daddies. It's unhealthy for you. It'll lead you to a life of being unfulfilled and unhappy and giving money to people who don't give a fuck about you. Be sure to subscribe to my Gumroad, by the way. Gumroad.co/man at the internet. I'm saving up for a house. Thank you. The main event of this stream is the mystery.
Le mystère du meurtre de Potato et Nigger Springs.
This is the thing on the tip of everyone's tongue. JF, the Quebecois man of mystery, of intrigue, of the something gene. He's an author too. He does live streams. He talks in a really, really shitty French accent. He's also known for having an interest, a sexual proclivity towards mentally handicapped women. And recently, well-known mentally handicapped potato wife, MamaJF, has gone missing. And when I say recently, I mistake myself, and I mean to say 4 months ago. 4 months ago in June, JF was instructed, according to him, to drop off MamaJF in the middle of the woods with literally nothing but a phone. JF writes this off as his silly wife being so silly and wanting to learn wilderness survivalism. However, after 4 months, he is now concerned about her well-being and has announced that there is a missing person investigation into the disappearance of MamaJF.
That being said, it's a cheese that I really love.
Feel like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
Watch that.
What timestamp?
Celebrity
Why is this random guy just watching him?
one is. Alright, Lawrence Forbes has my guilt around.
Okay,
She
here.
has a
This is a good clip of her just being like shockingly.
actual issue.
Damn, I need to.
Really? Don't say
Oh, this is like
anything
a
violent.
full MamaJF
What do you have to
compilation.
say?
No, I get seriously. You tried to kill me, okay?
Okay.
And
Okay, this guy is just gonna stop and just be like, "Oh my god!" You hear what she's-
Really have an
Oh, this is
issue
base.
with
Who-
no white guilt, or is she just fooling
Thank you,
around?
Sneed 8
She has
poster.
an
Saved me.
actual
God
issue.
damn, I need to.
Don't say anything violent.
No, I want to.
What do you have to say?
No, I get seriously. You tried to kill me, okay?
Okay.
And I'm sick that you're me with me. You always follow me everywhere, and
All right.
and you say you want to make spiritual movement, but you tried to kill me for 3 years, okay? You're
Okay.
psychopath,
T'en
man.
as assez dit, maintenant va-t'en. Okay, so the answer to the super chat is that MamaJF missed.
So, in case you're wondering, that is how she sounds all the time, and there's kind of this benefit of a doubt that she's just French-Canadian, and that's just how they talk. Because I mean, even JFG sounds pretty when he tries to speak, but she comes out blathering incomprehensibly about how JFG has been trying to kill her for 3 years. And I guess at the time you hear this and you just think like, oh, this is like some weird joke, because she doesn't really have the ability to intonate in such a way where you can tell if she's being serious. And JFG just doesn't treat it serious. He just says, okay, whatever, you're being weird again. And she does have this habit of like randomly popping on stream, saying nonsense, and then leaving. I want to say that's one clip. However, there's another clip where she comes on to talk about needing sex.
Hello.
Hey, I just want to say, no, I will never accept your apologies, okay? What you did to me was so mean. And this guy is not a real person. He's doing shape-shifting. And he's a ghost. Don't believe him. He's not a real person.
Okay.
And he
So-
wants to kill me.
Okay. So no white guilt is a ghost, according. I have a question for MamaJF coming on the super chat. K Max McDonald says, MamaJF, what is your background? What country do you derive your ethnic heritage from?
Okay, I can answer that. Okay, but before, I had a bad life. But then after I discovered GF, then I started to look at GF every day. I was always looking at GF. I became crazy.
She's a fan of his. So here's a brief background from what I remember. So back in the day, like in Stream.me days, there was a lot of bullshit with JFG going on. I can't remember why. I think it was because of the Spud wife. People found documents of his in the Canadian court system. This is actually, I think, his second wife, and his first wife was another Spud. However, she was so that her family actually filed in the courts to try and gain custody of her. And JFG represented himself. Remember, I don't know this for sure. This is how I remember it. JFG represented himself in court to try and gain custody of this woman that her own family was fighting for custody for. And he looked so creepy and awful in these calls or this case that he lost custody of this woman, and then afterwards MamaJF, who is like a woman who actually watches his streams, tried to hook up with him, and I think that she's now estranged from her family, and she's like competent enough that they can't file for custody of her.
That's everything I had. I lost my job, my family. I quit
See, she was isolated from her job and her family because of she was watching him.
school. I lost everything. I was just looking at GF all the time, all the crazy. And then after I wrote to him, I said, GF, I want to suck your dick. And then he told me.
Even beautiful. Hello, MamaJF. Oh, you took your shower?
Yeah, I was sleeping.
Yeah, so...
ALO-AIU.
Oh, yeah. She's a big fan of AIU.
Hey, I just wanted to say, it's so nice what you do, but I don't know why you're atheist.
Yeah, why are you an atheist, AIU?
Paris is nice.
It's a cheese.
Oh, this is the cheese. There's that one clip where she pops in randomly to say that sex with people is great or something.
I heard something.
Need love too. That's what she says. Anyways, I'm tired of it. I just wanted to show you, like, when we talk about MamaJF, keep in mind that there is something wrong with her. It's like it's not quite, I mean, she's worse than mint salad, but it's another one of those things where it's just like, you realize that she's right. You realize that she has like an IQ of maybe 80 tops. She doesn't really seem all there. And JF, we found out because of this that they have 2 kids. So keep that in mind as well when I read this, that the neighbor came out and said, I'm very worried for her because she has 2 children. I still see the children. And we didn't know about the kids before. So they kept the children a secret for years. And now, so she's been gone for months, and JF has somehow by himself been raising 2 children while also doing his show. So it's like, is there another woman? Is he hiring like childcare services for very, very young children? Like, what is happening here? That's also like, you mean to tell me that the mother of 2 very young children is going to go off on a hiking adventure by herself for 4 months with, you know, children under the age of like 4? She's just going to go off and do that by herself and leave her children behind. Even if the mother is, I'm pretty sure, especially if the mother is, that she's going to have a strong maternal instinct and is never going to let those kids go. Because we need to be like mentally ill, not just low IQ, in order to like abandon your own children as a mother because of how strong that instinct is. So all around, it's extremely sus, and I just wanted to lay all that out before I start reading the comments. He announces on Wednesday the following. The police in Canada is looking for MamaJF because in true MamaJF fashion, she has left her home in June and has disappeared from the map. I am sure that MamaJF is fine. I know she has been safe for at least 2 days after I dropped her off where she wanted in June. MamaJF is out of our home entirely voluntarily to go live a life of adventure wherever it would bring her. But since she has electronically disappeared, not connecting to her cell phone or updating me or her family. Then he says, I ask anyone who would have encountered her to just notify the police so that they can know she is safe. And I ask her if she wants to leave a note to the police, me, or her family to ensure everyone of her safety. If you want to send an encrypted tip anonymously, I can receive them at JFG Gariépy at protonmail.me. Which is a very weird message in every way, shape, and form. Mother of 2 very young children of diminished intellectual capacity decides to be dropped off in the middle of the woods 4 months ago. For 2 days after being dropped off in the woods, she's able to be tracked by her phone, which means that JFG has put a tracker on her phone to know where she's at. After those 2 days, there is no signal, and he is not able to contact her or discover her whereabouts electronically at all. Despite this, he does not contact the police for another 4 months. At the end of the message, he asks for people to notify her if they have seen her or know of her, or if she's alive, to send them an anonymous message. He then provides his Proton Mail account to receive emails from. which means that it is now possible that he will receive an encrypted anonymous email to this email address from a disposable email from quote-unquote MamaJF to notify him that she is very much alive and to not bother looking for her because she is so alive and so well, which would be a thing that he could do on his own if he was trying to disrupt a police investigation. He then continues, Occult Classics as K says, "You were the last person known to see her since June, ? And he says, "No, she has been traveling and leaving an electronic trace far from mine, so I do not expect to be a suspect in her disappearance," which is perhaps the most sussy Bacchus statement ever put out by a associate of a missing person, literally ever. Now, as you know, I have a small interest in true crime, just because it's one of the things on YouTube that you can watch for a couple hours and have some background noise. I've heard a lot of sussy Bacchus statements from like family members, parents, that kind of stuff. I really can't think of another statement quite like this that is so personally incriminating. And this is so incriminating that when I read this, I thought, this is fake. This is like a thing. MamaJF is at home. She was just spudding it up. She was playing Pokemon or some shit. And eventually, he's just going to be like, I have found her. She has returned to me. And he'll just, enjoy the benefits of all the drama and shit. However, there's a police investigation. There is confirmed a missing persons notice from the Quebecois police for MamaJF. So she is known to the police as a missing person, and they have committed resources to finding her, which means that if it is a prank, it will be one at JF's expense when they are pissed off they wasted money and time looking for a woman where he knew where she was at. So it's very strange. This is what he had to say in his next video regarding the disappearance. I think he was a little bit surprised how much that this kind of blew up, so he put out a message.
So in June, she left, and And 2 days after leaving, so she left and she had a whole plan. She had bought camping material. She was on her way to some sort of survivalist trip. From what I understood, it looked like she was preparing for life in the wild. She promised me when she left that she would always be reachable and that I would be able to reach her to deal with all of the official papers.
So this is suspicious enough as it is, but I want to remind you, 2 small children that JFG has been taking care of for 4 months on his own. Also suspicious that he said that she promised she would always remain in electronic communication with him, but he never reported her missing when she dropped off the face of the planet immediately after he dropped her off. So he rules out his own alibi like, well, she told me that she was going to be the grizzly man and travel through the woods and remember what it was like to be a real human. And she also said, don't ever look for me again. I will come back on my own. Instead, he says, yeah, she said that she would be in contact and then she wasn't, but I still did not report it.
You know that she owns a lot of stuff and sometimes I need her signature. And I was like, and although, you know, we do have legal remedies for this, I was like, if you totally disappear, you might put me in trouble on some bills, on some, you know, getting utilities and everything. So she promised to me that she wouldn't fully disappear. She went away. And 2 days later, she talked to me on the phone and sent a message. But by the way, everything I tell you is things I have told to the police. So it's not, there's no secret coming out that you guys are hearing. It might be secret from a public perspective, but it's all things that the feds have been knowing for a couple of days. So the last message that she sends me in June, 2 days after leaving, and it had been apparent, I think I may have been in contact for a couple of times during these 2 days. So I was sure that she was progressing through whatever trip she wanted to do. I knew that she was still alive. But 2 days after leaving, she says, I have changed my plans. I will not hold my promise toward you. I will not be reachable. And it's like, okay. She says, I have a new plan. And I'm like, does your new plan involve any sort of attack against me or the family? Because you guys know how important that is to me. She says, you don't have to be worried. My new plan does not involve you. I'm just going to change cell phone. Now, I knew that she had left without any sort of electronic tracking. You know how the police can track you with your credit card, with your debit card. She had left with nothing but her phone. So when she said that to me through text, I concluded, okay, she's going off grid. You know, she's going full survivalism. And kind of in her fashion. I mean, that's the way MamaJF is.
Yeah, that's how she is. You know, MamaJF, that crazy MamaJF. Yeah, drop me off in the middle of Quebec. What would be a great place in Quebec to go to? Hold up. Let me try and find a place for her real quick. Give me a second. We'll pull up a map here. Let's see where we can drop off MamaJF. So, from what he says, he dropped her off right there. This lovely little place. This road called Bonnet Rouge near Chemin de la Rivière Gatine. And I just said, yeah, good luck, crazy bitch. And then he just disappeared from the world and said goodbye. So that's his statement immediately after people started getting suspicious of him. And then, however, he then said this, and I want to say, I'm pretty sure this statement came after the whole people started accusing him of murdering her. So it's like, it was from 620. Oh my God. I know what this is, and that makes it even worse. I thought it was a recent thing. He says it's from 620. So 3 days after she was last seen, and the first 18 minutes are MamaJF related. Saved a copy in case. Get ready.
But in my case, I'm comfortable enough, and MamaJF has left me with everything that matters in life, what matters most of life. And so what can I do? I cannot hate her. I cannot be frustrated about this. And that's it. So that's why I had to take 3 days total to... I made so much cleaning, so much reinstalling, so much plastering of the walls, construction, renovation. I wanted to set the home in the way I like it. It's like sterilize this home now. I can walk finally. I can access everything. The fridge is super clean.
So if this is a joke and MamaJF is not dead, 4 months ago in June, he put out, he did not stream for 3 days. When he comes back, he makes a statement with this bizarre smirk the entire time saying that he replastered the walls and sterilized the entire house because MamaJF has left with everything that matters, which means the children, and now the house is completely spotless. 4 months later, he announces that she's missing and they're looking for her. This is the longest con in the history of long cons, if that is the case. Now, I know what you may be thinking. Josh, did this guy die recently? The answer is no. You are confusing him with the lead singer of Smash Mouth. And I want to make it absolutely clear that the lead singer of Smash Mouth is not JFG. I'm glad that we clear that up, chat. I don't want anybody getting confused. Okay. And this is the post on Facebook. Lisa Teeple says, was she living in O'Leary? And Donald Bayless says, she was next to us in O'Leary. Yolinda Martin says, is John still there? Leslie says, yes, I saw him last week with their young one. Nadia says, she had a little girl and was pregnant with her second last time I saw her, which was a while ago. I'm so concerned about her and her children. So she wasn't just, she didn't just have a child. She was pregnant. when she went missing, according to this person. I want to let you know a little known fact, chat. You may not know this. Would chat like to guess what the number one cause of death for pregnant women is? The number one cause, beats out any kind of medical issue whatsoever or accident. The number one cause of death for pregnant women is homicide by partner. It is specifically death by the person in their relationship. It beats out accidents. It beats out health conditions. It beats out everything. It is the number one cause of death. For real, no cap. So, which is weird. That's the only category of person I think where homicide is the number one cause of death. Neighbors are speaking like their kids. So again, nobody knew that they had kids until the neighbors were talking on Facebook. No need. When I drove by, the RCMP were there, and he was on the step with one of the kids talking to them. She actually has 2 girls. So she had the second girl at the time. So that's a newborn. That's a newborn. That's like an infant. That's a 1-year-old infant. You mean to tell me that JFG, a man, number one, a man, number 2, a busy man who does a daily show, was okay with MamaJF leaving him with a newborn who is still breastfeeding? Is that the story that I'm supposed to believe? I don't think so. JFG then goes on to say, after the rumors of him being a cold-blooded murderer were spreading through social media, he says, society will not improve as long as people prefer to attribute guilt to innocent men rather than conceive of the possibility that poor female decision-making does, in fact, exist. It is pretty wild to see people attacking me with the wildest impossible theories rather than accept the simple reality that our society has a problem with poor female decision-making that it refuses to face. The algorithm that plays out in people's brain can be readily observed as it deploys itself in social media invectives. If something bad happens to a woman, finds the closest man, and he is responsible. Most haters play this algorithm one way or another. The first layer attributes guilt for a murder. A second, more subtle group attributes guilt for not caring enough. But what is a man supposed to do in face of a modern female who chooses to utter the words, "I want to go"? How many of those criticizing me today would be criticizing me for abuse and detainment if I had not let her go? In the end, only a small group of people truly understands the fallacy of the whole algorithm presented above. This algorithm is simply incompatible with our own society's stance on individual female liberty and emancipation, which would have been elevated to sacrosanct status. Here we are playing with forces the Bible had warned us against. So, in order to thank you, Adrian. In order to dissuade people from thinking that he had anything to do with his wife's disappearance, I won't say murder, I'll say disappearance, he immediately blames women and says that, you see, I am the true victim here. She told me she wanted to be dropped off in the woods to live in Neighbor Springs as a grizzly bear. And what am I supposed to do? She is a modern, emancipated woman with personal liberty and self-determination in her life. And if that's what she wanted, well, I can't stop her. I have to let her go. And I also have to hide the fact that she's left to live as a grizzly bear in Neighbor Springs. And she's not going to take the children, and she's going to leave without her phone and just be a wild grizzly bear woman. So like his hope here is that the Andrew Tate people will show up. Like Andrew Tate will force Ghost into Quebec and be like, I got you, Meng. Inshallah, brother, we'll clear this shit up. And then like all the big hitters will come out to play. Which he may actually get a chance at, because guess what, chat? there is a man who has come out to defend JFG and warn against all that wishy-washy presumption of guilt that certain Karens may be up to. Dick Masterson has agreed to interview JFG, and based on his interview with Lotax and other people that he feels have been wronged by womankind, I have a distinct feeling he's going to give him a good platform to hang himself on by saying incredibly stupid shit. Thank you very much, Dick. And that's it. So I want to see chat, my own audience. I want to see if I go to Rumble and I do a poll and say, did JFG slice the potato? I'll do yes, vote 1 for yes, or vote 2 for no, or point 3, innocent until proven guilty, 3 exclamation points, in case you want to be an impartial boy who sits and waits for all the evidence, because you know some things just aren't as they seem. Maybe JF is just we can't be sure. Now the vote is coming in. Only a single person has voted 1. It actually took 50 votes for a single vote to come in that says no. We've now passed 50 yes votes, 6 innocent until proven guilties. There's literally a single no vote. Now there's 2 no votes. It's usually, no matter what my poll is, it's very rare that it's so one-sided. There's like only 1 or 2 people who are going against the grain, because usually there's a couple people who just want to be like a decent number of people who just want to be dickheads and counteract the narrative. But I think a lot of people are pretty convinced, because his story is so guilty. Like I said, it really feels like a parody of like the stupid things that people with missing like children say on national news, that gets people to think they're guilty. Like the Jean Bonnet case, where the parents were like super sus. By the way, in case you want to know who killed Jean Bonnet, it was the brother. The brother killed her, and then the parents covered it up, which is why they're suspicious but not guilty. The brother did it. Like Chris Watts. Yeah, Chris Watts was bad too. He was super bad. Chris Watts might have it. Now that I think about it, Chris Watts was probably even worse than JFG in terms of how guilty that looked like on camera. Good cattle, vote never kill. That's right, boy. Vote on my polls. My polls matter. My polls are the real voice of the people. All right, end poll. We're done here. It was 132 yes, and then like 5 no. It was really insignificant. And then there was like 20 people who said innocent or proven guilty. Good on you. You're better than I am at being principled towards the information that JFG's MamaJF had returned is wrong. However, he is currently on a podcast called The Crucible. I don't know. We can listen to that for like a couple seconds, I guess. See if that's interesting. Maybe we'll tune in at the exact right moment and there'll be something funny, chat. Let's see.
So that while you are correct that they probably shouldn't point directly at the closest man, oftentimes the closest man is responsible for the disappearance. If we look at the
that's why they do it.
It does happen quite often.
That's why the first suspect is the husband,
like that.
It's
And everybody
just
thinks they're an
this.
internet detective.
What
right?
a wonderful computation you just did, except that it's only allowed against white men. Make that computation against any other category and we'll see what happens to you.
I'm pretty sure that
Well,
they
I mean,
look
it's
at
just
black
men
husbands
in
too.
general, isn't it?
Well, no, because there are statistics that would allow me to say the exact same bigoted thing you just said. And they would allow me to say it, and I could get banned for saying it. Yeah. So people wake up, just check your own bigotry. You guys are all after me, and ultimately it's because you hate men.
I mean, fair enough. I was just going off of like the stats that they show when it comes to if a person has actually been murdered at all. It usually comes from the family.
Yeah, but we don't do accusations of murder in this society.
Oh shit!
On stats. It's like
I'm getting all the JFG chats in my chat now because I didn't turn off the thing. My chat's now ruined.
And our society has a commitment to principles of due process that allow us to say, even if you're a group that commits a lot of murder, we're never going to get at you if you haven't done it.
Yeah, I mean, right. But if you were a detective, let's say JF, and you had worked like 1,000 of these types of cases, like a whodunit style case, I mean, if if all the statistics and most of what you saw showed that it comes from the family and generally from them, I mean, wouldn't you logically follow that in your investigation style?
No, and see, this kind of probabilistic thinking is exactly the kind of parasite that's taking over society like a cancer, and we must eliminate it completely. What you mentioned there is not investigative.
But that
good
wouldn't work the other way
practice.
around.
And what I've seen from the police,
Like he
of
would be
the
for
federal
looking into
government
black
of
people and
Canada,
crimes
and
that
the
black
major
people are
crime
more likely to be
unit
perpetrators
is
of.
not what you lay out at all right here. They don't care about probabilities. They care about facts. They care about everything they can know for sure. And they start from
the
what
fact
they
is
have
the
that they
husband's
can
the
know
most
for
likely
sure, and then
perpetrator.
they make a step above, and then they question, and then they integrate all this information, and they don't ask themselves, is it likely that? Is it likely this? They go with what they know, and they make one more step and one more step. And now they're at their second step. They are now in Moncton 2 days after I dropped MamaJF. That is good police work. And what you mentioned there is what I've seen again and again in family courts.
Josh Moon killed her. No, it's not true.
And that kind of bigoted bureaucrats who kidnap children. And I say, fuck this. I'm so happy to be surrounded by professionals for once who won't do these probabilistic calculations. Finally, in my life, for the first time, I get due process.
Well, I mean, I think what you're saying is reasonable. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a presupposition I've never been challenged on, so I find it to be fair. In this particular case, I wanted you to be able to come out and kind of give your side of this, and give sufficient.
How much should I listen to this for? I'm pretty much done with all my content, so it's just super chats.
I mean, I'm just like you, just want to know kind of what happened because it's a
I'll listen for like another 6 minutes tops.
Yeah, I'd also like to notate, because this is something that has come up multiple times, of course. During the video, you did say, you know, you went through, you kind of cleaned up your house, this and that. And I saw a Twitter take, which was interesting. The guy tweeted out, he said, imagine trying to crucify this guy because his girl leaves and he cleans his house, right? It's like, that seems
this guy is way up his ass.
That's the society we live in. But I mean, it is a society.
We live in a society, chat. But the Crucible man, Andrew Wilson, says so.
It rings the alarm bells a little bit. If there's a missing person, you're going through, you're thoroughly cleaning the house, right? Can you kind of walk us through the process there? Why you decided to do the new plaster work and all of this shortly after MamaJF is gone?
The thing is, when you listen to these crime stories on TV, you see a lot of mentions of, oh, he was seen by a neighbor frenetically cleaning his car. And people have integrated this and they've thought, oh my God, this is a piece of evidence. And they concluded from looking at my old videos from the time around June, you know, around the date where I left, where I left MamaJF at the gas station. They started making the conclusion that, oh, we have a piece of evidence here. JF mentioned cleaning his house. What these people
immediately after you dropped her off. It is literally your timeline that they will be using to establish where you're at.
It will be often in relation to a place where there has been a murder. They will clean a car because there was blood in the car. They will clean their house because there was blood in the house. In my case,
but I didn't kill her in the house, is what he's trying to say.
The last contact of MamaJF happened very far from my home. After there were no more contacts between me and her.
Unless he killed her at the house and dropped her body off somewhere.
Of murder that would be tied to my frenetic cleaning of it. So I'm afraid that in this case, it's just a case of the trolls of the internet improvising themselves investigators and watching through my whole videos and detecting this one detail. I cleaned my house when MamaJF was gone. And if you don't understand
immediately
why,
after she left,
probably have been single forever. Anyone knows that a female has a lot of imprint onto a house. They do a lot of crazy stuff. Sometimes they play with water. Sometimes it gets into the electronics. I mean, MamaJF has broken 2 of my laptops just playing with water. So when
that's because you have a mentally child. Children play with water on computers.
She has controlled the plates. She has controlled the placement of all of the tools in the kitchen for years. You come back to your home and you look at it and you want to reshape it in the way you want. So I reshaped the home when I came back from dropping MamaJF, and holy shit, did it felt comfortable after years of having a packed fridge. I love a fridge that there's lots of space.
There's officially a Canadian missing persons alert for her. She's gone.
And reach for my Diet Pepsi can that's at the center of it. I couldn't do that with MamaJF and all of our lettuces and our carrots.
And make sure you archive everything related to this, because there's going to be Turkey Tom's going to make $1 million doing a Jim Can't Swim off this, and I want to cut.
Which is that my wife has gone on a trip, and I would never know if when she would come back.
Why is he's smiling? He's smiling as he says this. I never know when she will come back.
MamaJF married?
Well, I call her my wife. We are common law spouse.
Okay.
But for paper reasons, we didn't have an interest in marrying ourselves. But I consider myself tied to her forever and bound to defend our interests forever, dead or alive. And with a boyfriend or a new boyfriend or not, I will always respect what MamaJF has done in my life. And I
forgot to mention that recently he had been tweeting at Pearl Davis, the coal burner, about how, do you want to squat out? A baby was me. So he's already like looking for other women and shit. Like other retarded women to impregnate.
For a couple of years, as was what you said earlier in the broadcast here. Have you guys discussed this plan? Has she talked about it a lot? Did you try to talk her out of the plan? Like, kind of walk me through the plan.
Lorena donated 15 cents to this Crucible to say that I'm guilty.
I've always advocated that MamaJF should stay with me,
taking advantage of my Argentinian peso,
family, and continue building our dream farmland that we have been living on. But MamaJF had a pull that was pulling her back to our hippie lifestyle, and this has been forever. I mean, it has been from the first year we were together in 2018 that she would talk about this. So the plan, you say, what was the plan? Well, it's hard to get a plan from a hippie. You know, she doesn't have a mind like mine. She doesn't make plans that are explicit, but she had dreams. She dreams of being a star, of making noise, sometimes she dreams of promoting the revolutionary phenotype, you know. MamaJF had a strong idea that she had to push ideas out there, change the world. Sometimes she wanted to build castles where commune of hippies could be gathering and living together. You know, it's hard to present as a plan, but that is the mind of
that's
MamaJF,
and and everything he's saying is in past tense. She had dreams, but now she dreams of the maggots in her brain.
And you know, I'm going to ask this one too, and of course you can brush it away or tell me it's off limits or whatever. Were you guys feuding and fighting about this in the lead up to?
What's the appeal of a retarded GF? Total control. If you are a control freak and you need total control, what better, like children and the retarded, you can control them absolutely. That's why sadists are attracted to children.
I have so much invested in preserving my good relationship with MamaJF rather than be conflictual about it, that it's not in my interest to fight or to pressure or to.
Yeah, he failed. That's why he.
So what she always had from
that's motivation to kill her. If she wanted to leave, he thought, you know, he specifically picked a retard so she would never leave. And then she says, "I'm going to take the kids. I'm going to leave." That's motivation to kill.
You could get killed. Anything could happen to you. But if you want it to happen that way, I fully respect this, and I'll drop you at the safest place I can. You know.
Gas station and Gas Springs.
Emotional distress. I mean, after all, this was going on for months before you were ever able to even come out into the public with it, and you may not have, right? If this hadn't turned into a missing persons case and this type of thing, has this really caused you a lot of emotional distress?
Yes, certainly. I mean, it's normal for someone who doesn't know where their partner is. It's normal to be nervous, and there's lots of nervousness in not knowing, in imagining the worst scenarios, and also the restraint that you have to have, because, for example, there are things that I know are in the investigation right now that I will not mention and cannot mention.
I understand.
Because there are things that you have to defend people's private rights to, privacy. There are things that if you say them and they're not totally conclusive yet, it could disrupt the investigation, because it could throw off a lot of traces of people saying, oh, well, if that was established, I'm not going to call the police. And you don't want to create this inhibitory effect. And you want everyone to be on their best behavior and to be thirsty to call the police and try to report the most facts they can. So all of this combined, yes, is a lot of cognitive load, a lot of effort. But let me tell you, the peacefulness of MamaJF in her desire not to hurt me is something that is so much more tolerable than a lot of other cases that have happened in my life. There's a way
Look
in
at
separation.
Andrew Wilson's
I'm sure
face.
you know about it in our current world.
Look at how he's looking at her.
Can destroy the lives of their husband.
And often
they can
do it on
destroy
purpose.
them financially. They can kidnap the kids. They can do anything. The fact that MamaJF has decided for this trip, but in a way that was totally non-hostile to me, makes it much more bearable psychologically. And I totally respect the way she's done it. It's a clean way, and it's what we should be headed toward. If we had a society that denies
he's now being
the
suspected
right
for
to make
murder
these
because she
false
doesn't exist
allegations in
anymore.
family courts, that denies those
That's a
false
lie.
rape, defamation case.
That's such a weird thing to say.
Start against men. I think that would be highly desirable. And MamaJF, she had the moral pillar to be that way without society forcing her to be that way.
Well, JF, the way that you kind of described that, this sounds almost less like it was a trip and more like it was an actual separation. Is that how you're viewing it?
I don't know. Because MamaJF has done this before and she came back 2 weeks later. So when you are with a woman who has such an unstable, drive, you cannot know. The moment I left her at that gas station, I thought it was potentially the case that she would come back 2 weeks later, because that's what she did last time. So what do you trust? Do you trust your instinct? Do you trust what she tells you? Do you trust what she did last time?
I'm going to make a prediction.
All of these factors
I'm going to make a prediction. Hold up.
Different realities, and
they're going to go and find footage of the gas station, because he keeps saying the gas station. They're going to find footage of it, and she's not going to be in the video. He's going to go get a soda or something, and he's going to be like, I dropped her off, but it wasn't in that area. Then I went to go get a soda. But you see, I was there. I was at the gas station, just like I said.
I act in every day of my life as if she could come back. And if she does come back, I'll be there. And if she doesn't, that is also fine.
But you're hoping she is, obviously.
Well, I'm neutral, because I don't want her to come back if she doesn't want to come back. And I know Will when I see it, and I've seen her leave of her own will. So I wouldn't want her to come back and feel imprisoned or forced to come back. But if she does, she knows that she has my full
he has a
support
breastfeeding child in his custody, and he doesn't care if the mother comes back.
Broadcast right now, would you make the recommendation to her to go ahead and call the police and just let them know that she's okay? That way they could close the investigation up and everybody kind of move on from this.
Yes, I would say, MamaJF, if you are listening to this, know that I've not started any of this process, but it started making noise in the media. So
he didn't report her missing. Her family did.
Noise, I had to come out and talk about it.
She didn't even report him missing.
Simply to correct all
he
of those
never
attacks
reported her
against
missing.
me and those lies. I have nothing against you, MamaJF, and I have not asked for these investigations to be started. But if you want to calm everyone down, and if you want to calm the police and just diminish the tension and diminish the media attention around this, just find an encrypted way to signal your life that you are alive. If you don't want to talk to them, I opened a Proton Mail email. You can send me an email. Prove in that email that
the note's coming. The untraceable email saying that she's alive is so coming. It's so obvious what he's planning for.
I think that's all they want anyway. So if you don't want to be located and don't want to be found, that's one way we can use to ensure your safety.
Yeah, well, I mean, even just a call to maybe her parents.
Okay, Andrew Wilson. Yeah, maybe call.
Exactly.
Probably take care of
Anything
that,
like
right?
this would work.
Okay, gotcha. Now, kind of moving forward, have the investigators been? I mean, this is still ongoing, and clearly you're still working with them. Do you think that this investigation will continue until they essentially find her? Is that what it seems to the way it seems to
That's a
be
good
headed?
question. He's going to give a negative
I mean,
response.
this is the practice of the police. That's what they told me. They would do anything. They would do that no matter what. So they say this never goes away. We deploy all efforts possible until we find the
That's the
person or
police
until we
intimidating him.
resolve the case.
If they're going to be
So
like, we're going to put
that
100%
is
of
what
our
they will do.
resources
Now,
and
of
all
course,
modern
by the
science into
nature
finding
of
her, and we will find her,
investigation,
that's
there
them
are
trying to make him
investigations
sweat.
that run cold after 1 year, 2 years, and then the investigators will have less traces to follow, less things to look for, less active involvement. But their philosophy is to constantly pursue any trails of info that gets to them.
Yeah, well, I mean, it sounds like because at this point it is actually creating, I mean, maybe it's not creating problems for you, but it's definitely creating waves for everybody. And I've kind of heard you multiple times say on your show, like, look, I had nothing to do with this, to MamaJF. Are you afraid that she's going to blame you?
Andrew
for that
has the
and
face
then,
like he just realized he's
start
talking
that
to a
process
murderer.
anymore
He's
where
had
you
that
know?
face on this entire time.
No, I don't think she will, but I want it to be clear because because of a fundamental principle that you're not entitled, any of you isn't entitled to know where MamaJF is. That is the truth of liberty. We are in a society that gives you so much things. It tempts you with a driver's license so that, oh yeah, you can drive now. Oh yeah, but now you're carrying an identity card of the state, and now you are tied in the databases of the state. Oh, here's a cell phone. You can talk to your loved ones. Oh yeah, but now you are basically GPS tracked on every second of your life. We live in a society that has come to expect a demonstration of location for everyone in existence. And the fact is that principally, that is incorrect. The state is not entitled to know where you are. I am not entitled to know where you are. And
He's smoking a cigar now. He needs to calm down.
Worried agents of the government that have called the police because they noticed, despite the fact that me and MamaJF's family had assessed that she was leaving on a consensual trip, some bureaucrat of the government called the police and
she has a minder.
Worried. But you are not entitled to your worries. You are not entitled
she has a minder, and the minder, it wasn't even her family. She had like a welfare check from the state. Like maybe someone from the hospital, like, hey, we're checking in on your child because you haven't come back for any pediatric shots, and we have free health care. Why aren't you keeping up to date with your pediatric stuff? And they're like, oh, what do you mean she left? What do you mean she's been gone for 4 months and you don't know where she's at?
Perspectives as reasonable. If you see somebody often and suddenly they kind of disappear with no accounting, which doesn't sound like happened in this case, but obviously that's going to, throw concern into a lot of people's brains. Otherwise, this would not be the kind of internet wave that it has become to begin with, right? Where everybody is speculating and armchair detectiving, and it's become quite the human interest piece. Some kind of follow-up questions just to see if we can tie some of this up. Yeah, after you did drop her off,
bro, I see your fucking links in the chat. I have it pulled up. Shut the fuck up! I'm not interrupting the video for it.
There, this is all
Jesus.
Good, this and that. She didn't go back to your residence, nothing like that, obviously.
No, to my knowledge, she has never traveled back into my direction. So I would expect that where you find her on the line between my house and Quebec, I would expect her to travel toward Quebec rather than toward my house. Of course, I can't know for sure that she didn't come back, but I would be surprised. And I certainly don't know and haven't communicated with her since June 19th.
Do you think that there would have come a point
So he
where
knows he did something
absent
to the
X amount
phone
of
that would
time,
drag it towards
you
Quebec
or
from
her
where
family would
he
have
dropped
contacted the police after
off
X amount of
when
no
we went to go get a
contact?
Monster Energy drink at the gas station.
It is a,
And he knows that's where the
build
phone
up,
was heading
it's
before it
like
went
a,
away.
You know, these curves where eventually you reach a threshold and
Yeah.
it becomes unbearable. But given her past behavior, it's totally not out of the question that is still, as of today, that MamaJF is on a regular trip going with her regular plans. Her family member, some very close family member to her, was telling me that in the past she's been switching country and not giving news for months. And so when we were seeing that, okay, it is October, she left in June, that's the end of June, July, August, September, October.
But everything that she did like that, she did before she had children. And now she has 2 children.
That is within the space of what she has done in the past without giving any news. And so that is her choice. And yeah, so I'm still not super worried, to be honest.
Yeah, I gotcha. I mean, and there may not be anything to be worried about, but obviously, the reason that we're all here is because it's become a human interest piece,
smiling
right?
like this?
That's the everybody and their brother is obviously discussing this.
This is national news. This is going to national news. A retarded woman is missing. Her kids are in her father's custody. And nobody knows where she's going for 4 months, and she disappeared. And he put out statements about cleaning her house. This is going to be international news. This is going to go. This is going to be like a Jean Bonnet thing where people are talking about this.
So I remember back in our very first interview, JF, which was a very good interview, and I appreciated you coming on at the time.
Yeah, and he can't stop smiling. It's going to the news for sure. People will eat this shit up.
Had responded with, because I've been pushed out of so many of these different circles, I have had to become kind of the orchestrator of my own press, right? I've had to become the kind of pusher of my own, my own press, essentially. And was there a little bit of leaning into this, maybe for the purposes of kind of self-promotion as well?
No, my position on this is, like, whatever event happens and whatever things you don't control, and do use the opportunity to self-promote,
sure,
which is what I'm doing here. And I know that MamaJF, one of the things that, despite her not feeling like her lifeline was due to continue with mine for now, I know that there is one thing that she holds deeply and that she will always hold, and that will be true whether she's with me or not, whether she has 1,000 other boyfriends. MamaJF, and that's the reason she came to me first, believes that the revolutionary phenotype must be stopped. And so I don't think that she would take offense at all that I am talking about the book of the revolutionary phenotype while also covering the case of her disappearance. If there is one message that MamaJF wanted to yell at the world, it is reproduce, have babies, do not let the machines take over.
He's trying to sell his book.
I mean,
he asked him about his PR campaign to deny being a murderer, and he started selling his book. That's unbelievable.
Cover on this, in fact,
have babies, but then leave them with a fucking weirdo Frenchman.
I guess if there was one more thing that would kind of satiate my curiosity, it's still kind of the lead up. And I understand, she's a free spirit and this kind of thing. You know what I mean? But it's just so wild to think that, hey, just kind of drop me off here and I'm going to put the thumb up, the truckers, and we're gone. And this had to have had, like you said, months and months of discussion, but she just really never was very specific at all as to where she wanted to end up, or where she wanted to maybe send this revolutionary phenotypical message, and who she wanted to give.
I'm tempted to super chat this guy, but he doesn't seem to be paying attention to his chat.
Like that?
Wait, hold up, everybody. We're gonna touch the poo. We're gonna touch the poo. Ask him about her children she abandoned. I'm gonna copy paste this like 3 times. Okay, help me, chat.
I'm a guy who delivers the news.
Touch the poo together.
when you get
No,
the
we're tipping this
communication
shit.
from JF,
We're
it's going
rocking
to be
this fucking
clear,
boat chat.
and it's
Ask
going to
about the
lay
kids.
out all of the important details. MamaJF is a different kind of mind. She's not a mind to plan these details. She goes on big IDs, and sometimes, honestly, delusional IDs to a certain extent. So no, she's not the kind of mind who will say, I'm going to market the revolutionary phenotype by doing ABC. She's just going to follow her
Just ask, what about
emotions,
the
and
kids?
that is what women do, honestly. In that sense, she's not so different from the average woman. She may be an extreme case of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's it. I don't know. It's just like the free spirit thing. I get it. I understand women aren't exactly
Based.
known for
Do my
their,
bidding. Do my bidding, minions.
analytical
Ask about the
planning
children.
generally. Right now, I know that's a generalization. Maybe I shouldn't be looking at the stats on that, JF. Right, but just from my perspective, right? Not always the most analytical minds. But the other thing is the leaving without any cash, no credit cards, none of this type of stuff. She does still have to support herself. She has to eat. She has to do these kinds of things. Does she have access to like a joint account? If you were to put money in that joint account and she were to, let's say, take some money out, then that would also be proof of life, right?
Oh, MamaJF knows she can enter a bank that will hand her money at the declination of her identity. But MamaJF is not like this. MamaJF has decided to go on a trip of self-sustainment.
She doesn't have any
and
money.
she has done it in the past.
No, you see, she will not
doesn't need
withdraw
credit
any
cards
money
and
that leaves a
debit
credit
cards to
trail.
survive.
Oui,
Believe
oui.
it or not, I have someone was saying on social media, I heard that you can survive without a cell phone for 30 days. MamaJF is that kind of person. She has traveled internationally before without any
He
form
can't
of food
ask.
reserve,
He said in
any form
chat,
of support,
JF told him
any form
ahead of time, don't
electronic or
ask about the
reserves
kids.
of
No
money.
questions about the kids.
she
And he
can
can't
do it.
ask
She
about
can
them.
survive in the
Oh my
wild. She can
God.
survive in the city. And I am not scared at all for her ability to do that.
JF only appeared with the
Since she's left, and I know that this is a bit personal, but is your household in a bit of turmoil still?
Oh, great question.
Oh no, my household is in a beautiful state, and honestly, MamaJF, I appreciated her contribution to my life so much, but she is a disorganized brain, and honestly, my household is just better organized without her, and my fridge is cleaner, and everything is better managed. To my taste, as an autistic man who likes order and cleanliness, of course, perhaps not to her taste,
God.
but if she wants control over our household, she can just come back, and I will cede her back to her.
Got you. $10 comes in from KS. He says, "I hope she's okay."
So he handled that well.
There's quite a few,
he acknowledged in
super chats,
chat
but most
that
of them we
JF
actually
specifically
covered
mentioned that he
the
cannot
answers
talk about
to,
the
and
kids.
Some of them are troll chats. I have JF for about another 10 minutes. I only wanted to have him on for about an hour. If you guys have some questions that aren't troll questions, that are actually
Troll
pertinent to
questions.
this, I will ask him those questions if you want to send in a chat. And I'm sure that he's happy to answer them, but keep it on topic. And we're not gonna talk about anything in too personal of a detail.
Yeah, JF definitely told him, don't ask about the
family,
kids. Nothing
children,
about the
that kind of
kids.
thing. So
That's
don't even
fucking
bother with the
awesome.
super chats,
I can't
asking
believe
about
it. I
that.
can't.
If there was a precondition, I'm
This
happy
guy
to follow that.
murdered his wife.
So send in whatever you want. If you have questions,
I can't believe
about
that
the
one of
details
our
this,
pet
I'm happy to ask
retards
them
is a
to JF
murderer now. That's the first. We've had like one of the EDF
let's
guys
see.
shot up a school
The-
and killed 2 people, but this is like the first time
all
where
over
it's
the
like a
place,
proper
yeah.
true crime shit.
People, it's all over the place. You really started a shitstorm with this, by the way.
I'm so good at being hated.
Yeah.
Well, that's a pull quote. That I'm so good at being hated. That is a pull quote for national news. The CBC will play that fucking quote. I'm so good at being hated, and him laughing about it. Mark my fucking words. That's going in the docu.
I didn't say she bought a tent. She bought camping material. We already had a tent. I do not think that she brought it though. It was a very small backpack she left with. But we do have a tent, and she did buy camping material. But I don't think she left with the tent.
So she
Gotcha.
bought camp.
Yeah, well, I
He
mean,
has a receipt for camping material, but she didn't
according
take
to,
any
like,
of
the
it.
size bag that she was reported having, at least in this report, I doubt that she would be carrying a tent.
Yeah, it's our tent is in a wrapped bag and it's pretty big. It's a big cylinder. No, I don't think she would have it.
Yeah, even single sleeping tents, they take up a lot of backpack space. So
Yeah.
for urban survival, things like that, people don't usually carry that type of thing. Hoping she comes back. God bless, says this super chat. Now maybe you didn't. Okay, so this one's super easy and straight to the point. JF, did you kill Mama JF? Well, just yes or no.
Great question.
No.
No. Okay. I didn't think so. But then that's off the table, right? You
Smiling.
got it off the table.
Oh my
Is my
god.
super chat going to be read? If it's a troll chat, I'm not reading it. It doesn't do anything for, it's not pertinent to this. Why does the JF believe what the police are telling him? Asked Daniel Bourne for $5.
I don't believe what they are telling me on just by the fact that they're telling me, but I have my own way to verify things. For example, when they say that they have last seen her June 19th, the article that they put out was describing her clothes. And although I didn't quite remember what her clothes were, by looking at the description, I can see that this is a true sighting of MamaJF. Because as they describe her,
Is she Bigfoot now? Is Mama JF like a local legend?
She did leave with some sort of jacket like this, and so I know that that the sighting is real. I can know because the description is totally in line with the way she left.
Well, she probably wouldn't change a jacket out with a bag that size. I'm guessing she didn't carry many clothes with her. So she probably wouldn't change a jacket like that out anyway.
He's literally saying that she's a feral,
where you dropped her.
a feral animal in the woods,
yes,
like
but the
disheveled with like
question here
twigs
by
in her
Danielle
hair,
is
wearing
not
the same
What
clothes.
they can see is
Big
how do I
tart,
trust the
cryptid
police?
Mama
So my
JF.
answer is I don't trust the police on statement. I check what they report to me, and I can see that it makes sense.
This one comes in from Raised Fist. He says they may just find her in the streets of Montreal. That's a direct possibility, right?
Absolutely. And as I said, the investigator, maybe she doesn't want to be found. So,
Oh my
so
God.
It's all build up, this whole thing that could be a big
What a thing to
scare,
say to police.
but that is just a reflection of someone who wanted to be free and doesn't want to be found.
Okay. Jeff Bruno says if he told Mama JF's family that she left in June, why'd the family never contact the police after these couple of months? He actually went into this in pretty good detail, just so you understand.
So I've been in constant contact with her family, and there was always this rotating question of, should we be worried? Should we?
They were asking, where is she? And he doesn't know. And they waited.
That emerged, and to each of these people.
Oh, dude, when it comes out what he was telling her and how that conflicts with like his public statements now, like the shit he was making up on the time, it's going to be crazy.
I'm not going to judge you if you call the police. And each of the individuals who most love her are very close family. Each of them have decided not to directly call the police. One of them approached an investigator and laid out the facts of the case to them. And this investigator was a friend of the person. And the investigator says, this looks like a consensual trip. You know, you don't have a responsibility to call the police just because she doesn't want to call you or just because someone desires some space or freedom. So the conclusion of everyone, every single person has decided, those people who love most MamaJF, they have decided not to call the police until a bureaucrat of the government did it.
Gotcha.
Until a woman from the pediatrics department of the hospital wanted to know where she was for her appointments for the baby, because he didn't keep up with the baby's shots and shit. I bet you that's what it was. And then the woman from pediatrics is like, "What the fuck do you mean that she's gone?"
Don't find her, then people would be desperate. They would not trust the police anymore. So I think the right approach is to state reality as we discover it and to update, but only on things that are certain. And you can't make predictions for the future when you're a policeman. Who knows how it will develop? It could be in hours from now, or it could be in years from now. Who knows?
Maria Bela says for $5, but JF, you did say she was a victim of violence in other vids. But you seem here to say that she was able to kind of do all this travel time and this and that without having any real serious or significant problems. I think that she's trying to indicate that maybe there's maybe a contradiction here in terms or something, or maybe there's an explanation.
Yeah, when I said that MamaJF has not been raped in her travels, I'm just reporting what she has told me. She has never been put in danger through her craziness. What the person quotes here is from another context of conversation in which I was not talking about her travelings. I was talking about an event that has traumatized MamaJF at some point in her life, but it wasn't stemming or resulting from her travels.
Gotcha. This one comes in from Anonymous. Now, there has been a lot of conflict about this. This is one of the things people fight over the most. Maybe we can just get some clarification on it. He says, JF, if she was mentally ill, would you say so?
It depends, because I don't acknowledge that mental illness is a reason to deny basic individual rights, including the right of free choice for oneself. And so you tell me if she was mentally ill as a factual question. I do not recognize the preemptive power of psychiatry over the rights of individual. I say it's the other way around. As an individual, you are free to go check out a psychiatrist and get services from them, including diagnosis. But it is not the role of a psychiatrist in society to say, I'm going to imperialistically conquer your individual rights. I cannot go around and say, oh, Andrew, you're schizophrenic. I'm going to take over you, and now I get your house, and now I decide what you should do with
Look
your
at
house.
the host's face
That's
again.
what they did with Britney Spears. And I fully object morally on any such things as the takeover of adult rights on excuses of psychiatric diagnosis.
Yeah, he
that
completely
they don't
dodged the
consent
question
to.
with some weird shit about.
Yeah, that's been the train trick of Hollywood for, since there has been a Hollywood. Judy Tester says, is there anything we can do to help with the search?
My boy.
I would simply say, by simply not communicating misinformation and contributing to the absolutely insane environment of invectives and attacks and insults and bad info and bad conclusions, by simply being a neutral being in this whole affair, you would be doing a great deal of good for this search. And whenever you do,
You can help by stop judging me. That's literally like a true crime quote that I saw recently.
Really good. I am impressed by the quality of their work. That's what I tell them every day. Now, it's been a couple of days that they have left me alone, so that there used to be a truck of the feds in front of my house every morning and sometimes at night. And for 2 days now, they have not knocked on my door, and I appreciate it. But my door is always available to them, and they can come to me anytime. But at this point, I've given them everything. I've given them everything they needed to know, so they've left me alone for now. But so yeah, collaborate with these guys. I don't think they want to oppress MamaJF or me. And so I think they really want to establish our safety.
Yeah, so you would say one of the best things people could do to help is stop being hysterical, calm down, go where the facts are. Maybe something along those lines, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that that's fair. And I think that judgment should be reserved until there are actual facts that people know. And right now, we don't know shit. And that's the truth. We don't know anything. That's why you're here, so that we can try to establish some of those things. This one comes in from a wonderful galaxy. And I was kind of curious about this myself. Why do you refer to MamaJF in the past tense?
Well, because she has gone from my life. So, I mean, in French, we don't have this thing where if you talk about someone in the past, it means they're dead. It's like if I talk about, my mother is alive. And if I talk about my mother in French, I will say she did that in the past. She was a secretary, and it's not indicative that she's not a secretary anymore. It just means that she was a secretary at the time, or that she has been a secretary for a long time. So personally,
That's a good answer, because I don't know if that's true or not.
Influence of French, and
That's
also
not a
an
thing in
influence
French,
of the
says
fact
Miller.
that
Apparently,
I
French people
consider
are very
that
wigged out by
MamaJF
this answer.
has gone out in a
None of
way
this
that
is. Oh my
I'm,
god, the
not
French are
physically
fucking
tied to
revolting
her anymore.
in my
I still
chat.
consider myself fully dedicated
Is
to
it
her
true in
interest,
Quebec
but
French
not in the
though?
same
Is it
way
true in like
as
French
an
Canadian?
active spouse who lives on an everyday basis would be.
Mr. Krabs says for $5, JF, with respect, you didn't actually answer the question. If she were mentally ill, would you tell us?
Well, there is a false premise to your question that mental illness is a fact. Mental illness is a human judgment. And so I will
It's not
refuse
true
to
even
engage
for
with your
French Canadian.
question
Okay.
because there's a hidden moral prior in a factual word of your question. It is very grave what you're attempting to do here. And people don't realize how grave it is to talk of mental illness as a fact. Mental illness is a human judgment, a moral one that comes with intent to take
JF is
over the
fucking
life
insane.
of someone in our society.
This is
right
an
now,
insane
the
thing.
way they did to Britney Spears and the way they did to others. And I will never participate to this artifice of deception that it is to start claiming that mental illness is a factual description of anything.
It's funny. My wife always says she read a great book once, and she always says, mental illness is actually a problem in living, right? That's it's a great quote, I must admit. Paul asks, do you expect to be scrutinized for any future relationships you may have? That seems like a fair question.
I mean, I do not desire to engage in future relationships. I'm super satisfied with what I have in life, and so I'm not looking for a future relationship. It could come to me because I've said I would be open to suggestions, but I wouldn't actively seek a woman. Well, someone like me has always has taken a path of life where it's impossible.
This is how he acts when he's pissed
a
off.
normal relationship ever. So you say scrutinize. I mean, it's more than scrutinized. When you're a public person, you come up. People hate you before they even met you. People love you before they even met you. People have all their paranoias deployed on.
He was hitting on Pearl Davis in public, so he offered her. I'll find the tweet.
So the kind of life that I've chosen is a life of constant scrutiny and constant injustices. People judge me for lies that are on the internet for decades, for a decade at least. So I don't know how to answer to your question. Scrutinized, I am scrutinized in every way.
I don't know how to find this tweet because it's on the Kiwi Forums, but he literally offered to squirt out baby with Pearl Davis, and he said it was like this month.
Nope. For $5 Canadian says, "Hey JFG, the trolls in chat are from a Rumble streamer known as Judy Tester. She's a toxic person. I'm sorry you're being attacked so much. I don't know.
Oh, well, that's the life I've chosen. So I've been a streamer from the very first day that streams existed. So that's how far back it goes. I've been forming this community. What people know today as streaming, I was the first.
Found it.
And we were with 5 watchers on streams, yelling invectives at each other, insulting each other, using dirty language.
I am hereby offering. This is September. This is 2 weeks ago. I'm hereby offering to squirt out baby with pearly things. Insemination claimable between this month and December for birth around June, September 24. Travel fees may apply. Responding to Pearl Davis, say that real men marry and squirt out baby.
That's a little question. He sent in this follow up and just said, "I appreciate the content, JF, and I hope she's safe." Derek G for $10 says, "Well, I'm not going to beat that dead horse, dude. We just went over it multiple times. If you guys have any last minute follow-ups, now's the time to put them in so I can let JF get about his night. And I appreciated him taking the time out. I know that you're coming up on vacation here shortly, taking a few days off.
Yes, I am going on vacation to the Canary Islands and then maybe taking cruise to faraway place.
Atheism is unstoppable. A man who's supposed to be a rationalist, he has concluded on his Twitter account that it's so suspect that I'm taking 3 days of break when my common law spouse is the subject of a federal case of disappearance. Apparently, it's very bizarre that I'm taking 3 days of break to take time to manage the interviews related to this, to take time to correct people, and to take time
that's the wrong term.
to
A
stay
break and a
mentally healthy
vacation are
throughout
different
all
in
this.
English, I
I
guess.
find it
I can
amazing
imagine that's
how
a ESL
irrational
thing.
these atheists sometimes are. They are right about one thing. The theory of evolution is true. But when it goes to other things, they tend to be a little more weird.
There is a question in chat that I am curious about myself. Of course, again, don't have to answer it, but it asked, did JF have an open relationship? For some reason, I have a feeling you didn't.
No, I do not do open relationship. I've always told MamaJF that I expect full monogamy, and if she wants to have another boyfriend, it has to be following a break.
No, I saw the Judy Tester chat.
Physical presence around each other. I cannot tolerate any other potential fathers fathering children that I could care for. And so there needs to be a clean break. There needs to be, if you ever return to me, there needs to be sexual transmission disease tests. And I need also to establish that you have not given one of your eggs to another father. So I need to establish that you have not produced other babies. Those are the conditions of monogamy, and I impose them in full.
Gotcha. Reddit Silver member says, is it comforting knowing there are so many people out there who care for her and her safety, and they'll eventually find her?
I don't need comfort because MamaJF is a free woman. She has gone freely, and I need not to be comforted for the worries of a bunch of fucking normies. You guys are the one worried.
Oh my God.
I'm the one who fully trusts.
This is a big super chat.
Gotcha. Last question that I'll give you before I let you
He's
go.
seething.
This one's from the Made by Jim Bob show, who you guys have had so many wonderful arguments. He just couldn't help himself. He says, do theories ever become facts?
A theory is always a theory, but it can be true by the light of certain facts and false by the lights of others. For example, the theory of evolution will always be a theory. But there can be facts that come in that force you to accept the theory of evolution. For example, the resemblance between the ribosome of bacteria and the ribosome of humans is a fact that
my armchair psychology take on this is that when he has an opportunity to spurg about things he's comfortable with, he really takes it and goes the extra mile. Because right now he's like winding himself down. He's talking about things that he enjoys, and he's reducing his discomfort in doing so.
Always something else, but they can be fully confirmed by them.
Gotcha. JF, is there anything else that you want to say in this interview before I let you go? Anything else you want to get out there? Anything else that you want to clarify?
No, I would say to everyone, be a little less imperialistic, be a little less trying to control what others do, and enjoy life. MamaJF would not want, no matter whether she's alive or dead, or she's exposed herself to risks that she didn't want, and there may have been outcomes that she didn't want to happen. No matter what is her current state, she would have wanted in every way that everyone here enjoy their life, enjoy the people you love.
Oh, he's so fucking guilty. It's unreal how guilty he is.
Be happy and let everyone around you free, and just show your appreciation for existence.
Press F, Chad. Press F.
Gotcha. Well, JF Gariépy, I truly appreciate your time tonight. I know that you have another interview coming up. I think, is that with Dick Masterson? Is that what I heard?
Oh, I can't wait for the dick take where he just sucks this guy. Get ready for Juju to get on his knees and blow JFG as the poor innocent man that he is.
About true crime stories on YouTube tomorrow.
Well, good luck.
What did you just say about being on true crime?
I hope.
Is she? Do you know her?
I do.
So tell me about her. Should I be worried?
It will be woman prattle on overdrive nonsense. It'll all be about her. That's Lauren De Laguna for you. If I were you, I would go into your kitchen and grab a hammer and smack yourself about the head and shoulders with it several times before I would sit through an interview with Lauren De Laguna. That's just me, though.
Oh no. I said yes to her. And Papa JF always provides to a cute woman.
Just saying. You're
What
gonna
a closing
send me
statement.
a DM. You're gonna be like, Andrew, you were right. That's all that's gonna happen, JF. I'm just saying. Just saying. Anyway, JF Gariépy, have a great day. Thank you for making this your first interview on this topic. I know that there was some things the audience wished that I could have gotten into, but there's parameters for every interview.
Yeah, he's confirming it. The kids were off topic.
We are people who
I
are
think
out
he's
in
done
public, but
good.
that
I think
doesn't
this
mean
guy
that
has
they're
done good.
Fucking everything about us. So, JF Gariépy, have a wonderful evening, and thank you.
He
much
did a
for
pretty
stopping
good
by.
job because everything in this
pleasure.
interview
Bye-bye,
will be
and bye-bye
useful
everyone in the
later.
chat.
Just like his behavior is so
Great night.
bizarre. Thanks,
From
Andrew.
all
Heck of a
us here at
job.
the Crucible to all of you out there in Crucible land.
Okay, so small update on the JFG thing. JFG in 2020 put out a video called "Sterile Exit and Entry During Viral Events," and he made like a weird video explaining step by step how to make like a. If you've ever seen like a movie about like a pandemic, like a zombie virus, they usually have those tent entrances where it's like a little mud room, but it's like polystyrene flaps and then a bunch of like chlorine doused on the ground so that your boots like get doused in the chlorine or the alcohol or whatever the fuck. So he's basically explaining how to turn the mudroom of your house into like a UN pandemic tent where you wipe your boots off before entering your home. I don't know, people found this very fascinating because all of this practical information could be used to how to clean up your house so that you if you murder your wife, there won't be zero forensic evidence to find. Very nice, very interesting. This JFG has announced that MamaJF left, and I thought MamaJF had already left. However, that's irrelevant to the clip that I want to play. Let me make sure that it preloads a little bit. Aha. I was right to not trust that the clip would preload because of course it wouldn't. I wonder if this video is like 100 megabytes in size for no reason. Oh, I crashed.
Oh, not. Ice cream, gang, doggy, penis, pamplemousse, hot dog.
Wait, no, I wanted to work on this one. Why does this one not? Oh, it does preload.
Oh, not.
Okay.
Ice cream, gang, doggy, penis, pamplemousse, hot dog. Autistic comedy hour, whiskey, banana, rodeo. Yes. Kek, 2 tabs of LSD. TRP, watermelon. Mice, cat, fire, shady Jesus. Start tipping, guys. Ding dong.
If you're wondering, this is JFG's attempt at reenacting the NPC fetish, which I briefly talked about, which is the most, I don't know, it's the most bizarre thing that I've ever seen that people are somehow able to make money of. And yes, I'm aware the chat froze. That's my fault. Like I mentioned, the chat works by having actual headless browsers. So if I accidentally fuck up and close one of the browsers on accident, it just stops working. The MamaJF stuff, I don't feel inclined to talk about because I have a feeling that he's probably like, she's obviously, if you don't know, the whole thing about her relationship with JF, like she sounds, and if you ever hear her talk, you think like, wow, she actually has something wrong with her. And then I think that her family tried to sue for custody of her against JFG because they were saying that she was like being exploited by him because she's and doesn't know what she's doing, and he's trying to like impregnate her and have like a potato slave wife. And I think that they lost that, but I thought that she had left a while ago, so I don't know. It's funny that he's like, I haven't heard anything about JFG in like I think years at this point. So it's kind of weird to hear that he's still around and still doing like the same shit and doing commentary about like ongoing things, because I just haven't heard anything about him. And with that, I have solved enough to fix chat. Based. Gang. Chat work. Fireworks. Gang. JFG is celebrating the 2-year anniversary of his wife being dead. He says, "This week marks the 2-year anniversary of MamaJF leaving our home and fully disappearing in spectacular fashion. To this day, she has not been found, in spite of massive efforts of authorities to locate her. Before leaving, MamaJF had obsessively read a new example of permanent record by Edwin Snowden, which she had just bought, and explained that all cell phones are traceable and things of that nature. She left the family with many things, including a Bitcoin debit card which had $20 worth of Bitcoin dust left. Today, I spent the dust on a burger and chicken nugget for the family. This one's on you, MamaJF. Wherever you are, know that we are all doing awesome." That's the one. If you have a dead wife, I think that those are the words that are most meaning. If your dead wife could hear you speak to her, those are the words that I think she would want to hear the most. We're doing fine without you. I think that's really the parting sentiment. If you could talk to your deceased loved one, I think that's really the parting sentiment that she would appreciate the most. Really, this guy really is just a master of romance and knows exactly what the ladies want to hear, and is not like a deranged psychopath at all. Awesome. Not one of my favorite things ever made was is JF Gariépy. Now, JF Gariépy had teased his audience of whatever the public space by saying, "I have a 10 out of 10 girlfriend." And so her name, because her name has been confidential, has been 10 out of 10. And JF has been even posting photographs. I think actually these are pictures that she took. I just want to say, look, I weigh less than JF. If you look at this guy, I know he's not like a tall guy, but I am in a much better place than this right now. That is like a disgusting physique. If you look like that, you got to do something about that. That chin strap and then weighing like 250 is like a 5 foot tall manlet. That's a bad look. But he has money, I guess. Or I guess women just really like a French accent. So he gets the 10 out of 10. And then she has had a child. And I think they don't really know for sure, but they think that it's child number 4 or 5 that she's had. Now she has broken up with him and is a single mother by choice and has moved very far away. And she then showed up on the Real Housewives of Alberta, which is it's just like a couple women talking, and they're like Canadian, and they've been really interested in JF Gariépy. And it's just like a podcast of women talking, but they've been covering how Élora has been missing now for almost, I think, 3 years. I want to say that November is going to be 3 years of her missing. And she's like presumed dead at this point. So, and he's been raising the kids, quote unquote. But she went on this podcast. It's 2.5 hours long. So I'll just read you the cliff notes here. Okay, so the timeline of when this woman hooked up with JF. She saw an article by Vox Day about Élora's disappearance. And described JF as neurologically unique, which piqued her interest as she is autistic. So there you go. That's his in. She contacted him and they started talking in October of 2023. She says she was depressed and vulnerable. JF makes $7,000 to $8,000 a month doing coding from his home office, and then gave her a bunch of money to convince her to move in the form of BTC. In which he now claims that she stole from him, by the way. JF pressured her to move in with him, and she only resisted up until March of 2024. She met JF's daughter when she was about 3, and she still could not speak whole sentences. JF's son was not potty trained despite being almost 2. They are iPad babies. They watch Slappa all day. Apparently short. Oh my God, bro. That's the worst. That's terrifying. So he just gives them TikTok and they just look at TikTok all day. Oh, dude. See, this is my thing, right? Like, there's a lot of people like Ralph and JF who are like, so you see, to save the white race, we must have as many white children as humanly possible. And then it's like, okay, so you've had white children, but you've killed their mother. So therefore, they're going to grow up. A child that grows up not knowing the unconditional love of their biological mother is a child that is doomed. There's no way around it. You are doomed. But then you raise them like a psychopath, like JF is, without their biological mother. And then you give them TikTok babysitter. So now you have white children with no maternal bond and a bad paternal bond, and you let TikTok raise them. Do you think that these white people are going to grow up and benefit society and have white identitarianism just because they have the white genes? No, sacre bleu, you have made 3 white babies that are going to vote communist and date black people, JF. JF has never taken them to a doctor, which I'm surprised is even legal in Canada because I think they have mandatory doctor visits for kids in the US, don't they? JF doesn't brush their teeth and they have cavities. Oh my God. That's terrifying. You can die from cavities. It's extremely painful, obviously, but you can also just straight up die from having cavities. It's not legal. They have mandatory doctor visits. Okay. When she met JF's daughter, her hair was matted very badly. She had to cut 3 inches off of it to even brush her hair. He feeds them McDonald's, butter, noodles, etc. The boy doesn't eat any meat. JF feeds him Arubo gummies because they contain proteins. On a Friday night, CPS came by to see the kids. JF told them was told he could not refuse them entry, so he let them in. The kids were asleep. The CPS agent expressed concerns that JF had already moved on to a new relationship while the kid's mother was still missing. They left, promising to come back on Monday morning for further investigation. JF's immediate reaction after CPS left was to break down ugly crying. He insisted that they had to leave that very night, even though they had a whole weekend until CPS came back. They went to JF's mom in Montreal without any notice. They stayed at her place for a month. Police eventually came by, I guess in Montreal, to see the kids. They said they were there because someone from inside the house called them. 10 out of 10 said she didn't, so it's likely that JF's mom called the cops on her son. Police left and JF insisted that they leave that very hour. She was not in the mood, but JF convinced her by promising to stay at the Fairmont in Mont-Tremblant and so that she could use the spa. Well, I really didn't feel like fleeing with the children a second time, but then he said he'd get me a spa. So I was like, okay, alrighty now. They went to Mont-Tremblant, Fairmont, where 10 out of 10 used the spa while JF figured out what to do. She said she spent $1,000 in spa treatments. Well, get your stack, sweaty. Get your bag. They then drove up to Alberta, where JF tried to buy a house, and the deal fell through, but he was successful in buying a second one. Okay. He asked to put the house in her name, which she refused. Why the fuck would you refuse a free house? JF then found a lawyer to put the house in Élora's name instead. Oh my God. Okay. JF then left the 10 out of 10 alone with the kids so he could drive back to Quebec. I guess she's not legally dead yet if he's using her to store bullshit. Left the kids so he could drive back to Quebec to pick up his stuff. While JF was away, the police came by to see the kids as a courtesy to the PEI CES. And since the kids looked mostly normal and 10 out of 10 was cooking for them, they quickly left. When they got to PEI, what is PEI? Oh, Prince Edward Island. I'm surprised I knew that. When they got to Prince Edward Island, most of Élora's possessions were still there, including most of her clothes. There were no pictures of Élora in the house. JF had a slideshow of pictures he ran on the TV as a screensaver, but none of them were of Élora. When Élora left JF about a year ago, she disappeared and went to a women's shelter in Montreal because that's where she has most of her friends and family. While she was there, a came in the shelter. Élora was concerned that the man was allowed in and was kicked out because of it. She then had to come back to JF. This is a quote erat demonstrandum. of how politics literally women. And you hear from like James Stefani Sterling about how being trans misogynist is actually misogynistic and damages real women. No, this is the actual real life consequences of explicit pro-trans shit has on real people. MamaJF was she was the fact she even managed to step foot out of the house and get away from him to begin with is a feat of strength for somebody with her impediments. It's really hard for normal people to get out of abusive relationships. It's extremely hard for a potato. And then they're like, what? You are not pro-trans? Well, go back to your husband's house and get slaughtered like a cow, madame. And so she did. JF told 10 out of 10 that the reason why Élora disappears is that she was crazy and wanted to leave. Élora was a big fan of Owen Benjamin, watching his show and sending him emails. According to what JF told her, Elora's family is detached hippie boomer types. She doesn't think they care much about her. JF sends them pictures of their grandkids, and he says that they don't respond. JF told her that Elora's family hates her. When they went driving on the highway to New Brunswick, JF said that if Élora walked into the woods by the highway 1 or 2 miles and killed herself, she would never be found. JF told 10 out of 10 that he beat Élora at least once a week as hard as he could because she called him a... So that's an interesting tidbit. I don't know why JF is being called a by his long-term girlfriend and mother of 2+ of his children. And I don't know why he was beating her as hard as he could for it. Did she repeatedly call him a, or was this like a therapy that he devised? Like, oh, she called him a that one time, so it's once a week, or is it like a weekly thing where she calls him a and he has to remind her to not do that? Interesting. Okay, the breakup. 10 out of 10 became pregnant with JF's son in December 2024. In January of 2025, she left JF and went back to the US. A month ago, she gave birth to her son. She did not put JF's name on the birth certificate. Her not putting JF's name on the birth certificate because caused JF's latest meltdown and his public denunciation of her. She suffered from a condition called postpartum preeclampsia. I spelled that wrong. Yeah, you spelled that really long. It's postpartum preeclampsia, which is I want to say that preeclampsia is when you're a pregnant woman and your heart might explode. And I think that's literally all they know about it, is that your heart might explode while you're pregnant or after you're pregnant. I think it can occur either way, but the symptom is your heart explodes and you die. If I'm wrong, please leave a comment below and let me know. Yes. Yep. Okay. I think this is the first time I've taken a swing at something and chat's like, yeah, whatever. That's basically it. Okay, I win. Awesome. Josh wins again. So, where was the preeclampsia segment at? Okay, here it is. Postpartum preeclampsia, heart exploding syndrome, that causes new or pregnant mothers to get very high blood pressure. It can be very dangerous. Yes, heart exploding disease. While she was recuperating from this condition, JF was melting down and demanding she change her mind. Apparently, the nurses mentioned that her blood pressure was much higher after she talked to her boyfriend. JF wrote his newborn son an unhinged breakup letter of sorts. She is safe, near family, in a state with strong castle doctrine, and she has guns. Welcome back. God, you go up to Canada, what happens? You get knocked up with a son, you come back to the US, you're in a castle, a literal castle, armed with literal arms. She said that she has a lot of receipts and videos that she hasn't shared with the housewives, including some videos of JF is not aware of. Wonderful. JF's attempt to enter the US. Keep him out. Where is ICE? Where is the CBP? Okay, we got to keep this French-Candadian out of the United States, okay? At some point, I can't remember exactly when, she had to go back to the US because she couldn't stay in Canada for more than 6 months. JF volunteered to drive her across the border. They were stopped at the border, and JF was interrogated for 8 hours, probably because he has a big red flag on his profile saying, a warning, this person is known to be related to a missing person and may be trying to evade the law. While JF was getting interrogated, some agents came and talked to her and asked if she knew of JF's history and his record. She felt they were doing kind of an intervention on her. Eventually, she had to leave JF behind, but she came back in September to get pregnant, apparently. 10 out of 10 says that JF was not a real conservative, that most of his views were actually pretty liberal. JF lives off welfare. He gets child welfare benefits, which might explain why he doesn't want the house under his name. He never saw JF being harassed by the police. The DNA test that JF claims he forced her to take to prove that she was white was a 10 out of 10 doing a 23andMe test out of her own curiosity. In the PEI house, or the Prince Edward house, they slept in a small upstairs room on an air mattress with no sheets and exposed isolation. The exposed isolation caused her asthma to get worse, and she had many asthma attacks. If you make $7,000 to $8,000 a month, why would you live like that? Like, if your whole thing is having kids and like saving the watres, why would you not put a ceiling on your roof so that the insulation does not get into your baby's lungs? Why would you not buy a crib? Why would you not buy a nice mattress for your wife to sleep on so that she does not get the preeclampsia and die of heart exploding syndrome? Why would you just sit down at your computer and let the world run like this? It's a mystery to me, chat. She is 5'5" and says JF is exactly her height, making him also 5'5". JF has a nice set of knives in Prince Edward Island with a couple big ones missing. JF had documents from his previous relationship that Tian and Atin saw. She confirmed that the son he has was with a North Carolina woman that he has no contact with. He also has a daughter with a girl from Quebec that he met online and hooked up with when she came back from the U.S. The Quebec mother would only allow him supervised visits, to which JF didn't agree with, so he had no contact with his daughter either. So apparently he's like a serial philanderer who disposes of women as they come and go. Very specifically predates on autistic women or women with low intelligence. And then, unsurprisingly, has absolutely no involvement or investment in his own kids, despite supposedly trying to save the race and propagate his exceptional phenotype. We had some idea about baby mamas in the U.S. I think there was a big ordeal where one of his baby mamas in the U.S., because the U.S. has much better court documenting systems for public scrutiny, was that her family was literally trying to get her declared incompetent so that they could take custody of her and the child, because they thought JF was a creepy weirdo and they thought that she was no longer able to make good decisions for herself. All right. That is the JF segment. Let's see. JF posted something. The answer is, how long should a man wait after his wife dies to remarry? He says, the answer is you should not wait a second. Move on, next women. Oh, I have to read this in the voice. The answer is you should not wait a second. Move on, next woman. Women often die or disappear on purpose. It is their way of trying to stop your reproductive streak. Do not let our instability be an obstacle to having a large family with many children. Ermina says, I respect diverse views on grief and family, but this perspective overlooks the profound spiritual bond in traditional marriage, where loss demands reflection and transcendence, not haste. True strength lies in honoring the eternal beyond mere biology. Jean-François replies and says, there is no profound spiritual bond when you're dealing with Messianics who have decided they were going back to the streets. But you probably won't ever have to deal with this, so this is outside your domain. So now he's just slandering Élora as a meth head. And he says this. The whole is it cringe to have a boyfriend question stems from the female delusion of having a social circle and a network of support and basing their life around that instead of family building. Reproduction necessitates women to detach, at least temporarily, from this delusion, and they therefore lose their value to other women as objects of social gratification. Before that, you could see
be seen by their girlfriends as having infinite potential. You go, girl. You could be anything. You're so hot, no man deserves you. But the boyfriend now reminds the social circle of girly friends about the elephant in the room. That beauty is ephemeral, friendships are bullshit, and that all we can do that's significant over a meaningful period of time is to produce babies that will make it into the future. She now has settled. She closed on the deal. She took the ensemble of her beauty, dreams, and aspirations and decided it was worth that man. The girls who stay living the celibate life have the same feeling you get when the alarm clock pulls you out of a comfortable sleep. They want to stay in the dream. Thank you, JFG. Very cool. This is zombie Élora. I think that is a zombie Élora. Le pâté jeté du pont. Such a beautiful language, yeah.